street, Little Italy. Hangs with his pals, yeah, that's where he'll be. It's Vinny, a friend of mine. Stand-up guy from the Lower East Side. Take it from me, he's one of a kind. It's Vinny Valentine.
Welcome to the Vinny Vella Show. It's called Tell It Like It Is, the Vinny and Mariana Show.
And Mariana Show.
That's my Mariana.
Hi, Vinny.
Hello, Mariana. How you doing, baby? Nice to see you again. Nice to see you. I'd like to start off the show, because, first of all, I'm not a guy that's on the computer and Facebook all the time. Mm-hmm. But I'm a guy that believes in an eye for an eye. And those guys that, decapitated those guys' head. Oh, man. I would like to put them in a pool with no ladder and throw gasoline on them and light a match and watch them burn and televise it and send it back. Let them see what it's like. But, but this country's a little bit too liberal. They're not going to do any of that. What happened, Mariana?
No, that you've really thought about this thoroughly, haven't you? You have a whole plan. You've planned it out.
Do I ever? Now tonight we have not only a friend of mine on this show, but he's also an actor, and he's been in many things. Oz. He was one of the stars. He was the star of Oz for a while.
A wonderful HBO series.
I'm sorry?
A great HBO series.
Oh, tell me about it. Then we were in a movie together called, I think, This Thing of Ours. Yeah. And I've done several things with my guests. I'm going to introduce him because not only is he a good friend of mine, I was just so lucky to have him come here tonight. Please give him a nice hand.
What a privilege.
Charles Zito. Okay. We just recently did something up in, what was it, Nyack?
Nyack, yeah.
Nyack, with Paul Borghese, big open
Sons of Italy. The first time I've been there, and it was great.
It's pretty nice, no?
It was unbelievable.
Wow.
And
a lot of great talent. It was in Rockland County.
Okay.
And right over the Tappan Zee Bridge.
Oh, wow.
I believe it's called Tappan, New York, isn't it?
Oh, man, I had no idea.
You don't know. You just got to ride there, and that was it.
Listen, they limoed me out there. They put me in a hotel. They brought, I stood overnight, came back. What's today? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday, I came back
Tuesday.
yesterday.
In real time. As for our viewers, it's Saturday night at 7 o'clock.
Something like that, yeah. And I had a great time.
How long ago was this?
Sunday.
Oh, this past Sunday?
Yeah,
oh,
this
my gosh.
yeah.
Yes.
And then come to find out when I get there, who's there? My boy, Chuck. Baba. He's been calling me
friends.
Baba.
But I just met Mariana, so you don't mind if I look at Mariana all night, right?
Yeah, well, he's
really
been calling
kind
me
of you,
Baba for a long time.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, how long have you two known each other?
I've known, man, I don't even know. It's been years.
Yeah.
And I remember, and then another time I was out in Las Vegas, and I came to see him there.
Years, right?
Wow. In Las Vegas, and you were doing something.
20 years. He used to babysit for me when I was a little kid.
Of course you did.
Yeah. He used to pee on my lap.
Of course you did.
And, yeah, but Chuck has been in some, and then you also belonged to a motorcycle club at one time, right?
Yes.
Well, you were the president of the New York charter.
What club was that?
You did the research on me.
I did.
So.
What club was that?
Hell's Angels,
Well, you see,
the one and only.
She said it. All right. I back her up. I back her up 100%. She said it though.
But before all this, you started off as an amateur boxer, didn't you?
An amateur boxer,
yes.
My father was a professional boxer, so I grew up in the sport.
Okay.
I remember him getting on his knees at 5 years old and teaching me how to box, and then when I was 12 years old, I had my first ring fight.
At 12?
12 years old. Southside Boys Club in New Rochelle.
Wow.
Then when I was old enough to go into Golden Gloves, I went into Golden Gloves 4 times in New York City.
That's incredible.
I think I got this face for nothing.
And you also trained in martial arts while you were doing that.
Yes, of course. After seeing
You
the
have to.
great Bruce Lee and the Green Hornet, I became a martial artist and studied White Crane and Tiger Claw Kung Fu, and then went on to
That requires a lot of discipline.
And eight different styles after that. So, and now I train with Renzo Gracie in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Wow.
And he has one of the fanciest Harley Davis bicycles around. I remember one time, this must have been about...
Harley Davis bicycles.
Bicycles. It's a very fancy
Davis
bicycle.
motorcycle, I meant. Motorcycle.
Go get it.
It's my
bicycle.
medication. It's starting to kick in. Motorcycle. But I think this was about 3 or 4 years ago. I went to a club and I see this motorcycle on the sidewalk with his name on it, Charles Zito. And these meter maids are going around giving out tickets. They look, and they just kept walking. I said, "Oh man, this is." I mean, I thought Vinny Vella. I thought I had a little clout, you know. But he was smooth. That's a nice looking bike.
Yeah.
You still have that, correct?
I have built a bunch of different bikes through the years.
Yeah.
Probably still have the same one you're talking about, but I built one recently for the Sons of Anarchy that I had. And they wouldn't let me ride it because it was too pretty, they said.
Who wouldn't let you ride it?
They said it was too
loud.
outrageous looking because everybody else drives the same motorcycle, a black motorcycle,
Right.
either a Dyna or a FXRS.
Okay.
And mine was all 6-foot up sweeps, chrome all over it, white with pearl, and
It was just too much for them to
too
handle.
much, so.
So you have a few bikes then?
Yes, and I also
Yeah.
have Mickey Rourke's bike from Harley Davidson Marlboro Man
You're kidding.
that I borrowed 18 years ago, and I still have it.
Wow. Unbelievable.
So don't lend me your car or motorcycle.
You might not give it back.
What I say, bicycle.
Ah, it's okay.
It's all right. We know what you meant.
Yeah, well,
We know what you meant.
wow, that's unbelievable. Now, now besides this thing of ours, Oz, I know you've been in other movies too. Just name some of them.
I've been in a few of them. If you remember Gia back in the day. Remember the movie Gia with Angelina Jolie?
Right.
I'm the guy who picked her up at the photo shoot and drove her to the crack house.
Oh, perfect
But
role.
it was a memorable scene because we went over the 59th Street Bridge and it seemed like it went on and on. But I've done so many things. Carlito's Way, I've done. I
Carlito's
just
Way.
finished a big movie with Jason Statham that Sylvester Stallone wrote called Homefront.
Oh my gosh.
But I had a whole different look. I was all gray, crew cut. I looked more like a
You were all gray.
all gray.
Oh man, I would have loved to have seen
like
that one.
you.
Like this? Well, I dyed this silver. Does it look natural? It look natural.
So
He's
was a
going
good
for the
movie. That was
silver
a good
bellies.
movie.
Okay, all right.
And we did a bunch of things. Of course, we were in Oz for 5 years, and that was a great show, the greatest show on HBO. And
Now, Johnny Palumbo was on
started it
that
all.
show too,
We
right?
started it all. We started it before Sex and the City, before Sopranos, before 6 Feet Under. Oz was first.
Oz was
That's
first.
right.
And we said, if the Sopranos come to Oz, we'd spank you guys.
Well, I was in Oz too.
Yeah.
I've done a couple of episodes in Oz. Tell me something now, Johnny Palumbo. Do you know Johnny
Yes,
Palumbo?
of course.
Yeah,
Great
he
guy.
was in that too. Do you
Yes.
know?
He was
that,
one of my guys, one of my sidekicks in the Sicilian
Do you
crew.
know he just had his wife just had a kid?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
I didn't even know he got married. Just somebody told me that the other day.
Great.
I don't even know if he's
Great.
married, because with him he's a piece of work. You know,
So his wife just had a baby?
he didn't, but yeah,
She sure it's us?
yeah. You know, I don't know if
we're
they got-
revealing a lot of information on the show tonight.
All I know is somebody came up to me that knew him and said,
Oh.
"Hey, Vinny, how you doing? This, that." I said, "I was just talking with Johnny Palumbo yesterday. How's he doing? Where does he live? I don't know. Is he still on Lower East Side or Upper East Side? I don't know. But I know his wife had a baby. Had a baby
Good luck,
girl.
Johnny Palumbo.
Yeah,
Say what?
good luck.
Yeah, good luck, Johnny Palumbo, wherever you're at. And wow, that's unbelievable. Now, tell me something else. Now, I know you got a few other things on the agenda. Is that correct?
I leave next week to do a movie out in Texas
In Texas.
with Christopher
Whereabouts?
Walken. Austin.
Austin.
Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken plays the main wise guy.
Wow.
Goldberg, the wrestler. Kurt Angle, the wrestler. Frank Trigg, the MMA fighter. Don Fry, the MMA fighter. And remember years ago, Any Which Way But Loose with Clint
Oh, yeah,
Eastwood
sure.
Yeah.
and Clyde and all that stuff.
Wow.
Well, this is 30 years later. His grandson is a fighter now, but it's a serious movie. Before it was a comedy. this is a serious movie. So
And I
there's
worked with Christopher Walken.
two bike clubs in it, and I'm the leader of one bike club, and of course,
Yeah.
that's
Of
why I grew this
course.
again to play
You know, I'm one of your biggest fans. You know that, right?
Oh, thank you,
You
man.
know that, right? I tell everybody I know you.
You do?
Not everybody, but I tell a lot of people. Yeah, I worked with Christopher Walken on
Great guy.
Kill the Irishman.
Kill the Irishman.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a movie.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty
You know?
good. I think it was
And
a
it
little more
could have done a lot
dramatized for
better, but
the
they spent-
movie because he wasn't that tough, the guy.
Who was that? Christopher Walken? What are you talking about? Him or him?
Green.
Oh.
You know?
Well, now you made me forget what I was talking about now. But anyway, that movie could have done a hell of a lot better, but they spent a lot of money on special effects. They spent too much money on special
Blowing
effects.
things up, yeah.
They should have, they should have
That was a
spent,
pretty good movie. I mean, it was a pretty good movie.
you know, and it was great
I
from
thought
the
he did a
beginning
great
to the
job, the
end.
guy who played Green,
You know, you
So-
played what? The Loan Shark. Christopher Walken.
Chris Walken, yeah.
We used to have breakfast every morning. I was in Detroit for 5 weeks with him. And we used to have breakfast every morning. So I said, let's go sit over there. He goes, well, you like to sit around all these people. No, I want to sit over there. We want to sit by ourselves.
Great
I said, if we
actor.
keep sitting in
He
the
is a
corner
wonderful
by
actor.
ourselves,
Great actor.
they're going to send us flowers. They're going to think something.
King of New York was one of the greatest films ever. Abel Ferrara did that.
Yes.
If you remember him in the True Romance with the part with him and Dennis Hopper, that scene. That's the greatest scene. It was
He
great.
is amazing.
This is a guy that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Now, you, at the beginning, you were also a bodyguard.
Yes, I started out as a bodyguard. Well, first I started as a stuntman in the movie business.
I see.
There was a guy named Sandy Alexander who was the president of New York City Hells Angels. And when I became a Hells Angel, we did a movie in 1979 with Cher Meatloaf called Dead Ringer. And they needed 18 guys on motorcycles, and of course Sandy hired the Hells Angels to be Meatloaf's crew. So we all wore tuxedos with Meatloaf on our back.
Oh, that is amazing.
So there was 18 Hells Angels in it, so I caught the stunt bug and I became a stuntman.
So that's how it all started.
That's how
for
it
you.
all started.
But it simultaneously.
Sandy and the Hells Angels opened the doors for me
I see.
in the movie business.
But simultaneously, you were also working as a bodyguard,
Yeah,
and
so
then you had your own.
after I became a stuntman, then I started doing bodyguard work. So
And then you had your own company.
I had
Charlie's Angels.
Yes, I
She
was
did
a
her
Hells Angel.
homework.
She did her homework. Look at you.
You're always surprised. It's like after
I
a year
am.
and a half, you
Yes,
think I
it was
wouldn't.
called Charlie's
No.
Angels Bodyguard
Yes.
Service. And I was a Hell's Angel. My name was Charlie Chuck, so I called it Charlie's Angels.
Very
Just, it was a
appropriate.
good fit.
Yeah.
And Liza Minnelli was my first client. She hired
How did
me.
that happen?
She hired me to watch her sister Lorna Luft, who was doing a Broadway play called Snoopy.
Oh.
And after I worked with Lorna, then Liza hired me.
I see.
She was doing a Broadway play called The Rink, her and Cheetah Rivera.
Oh my goodness.
So I started working for Liza, and everybody who saw me, I mean, it was word of mouth. I never
Immediately.
advertised, and everybody came to see Liza. Elizabeth Taylor and De Niro and Pacino and
Oh, I'm sure.
just all the greatest actors. Lucille Ball. There's so many people I've met just in Liza's dressing room, and of course I had to go through me first to get to her. So I met everybody,
you met all
everybody
of
you could
them.
think of, and it was just great. It was great, and I still bodyguard for certain people. They call me.
Oh, you still do?
Oh yeah,
Really?
yeah. If Sean Penn calls me, I'm with him. If Liza calls me, I've been with Liza 20 years on and off.
Wow.
So Charlie Sheen, I bodyguarded for. I went on a 21 city
goodness.
tour with him.
Has there been any particular person that's been difficult to work with as far as a
Yeah,
bodyguard? Because
Vinny.
they're very famous.
Vinny.
I mean, they're
Yeah,
extremely
yeah.
famous.
You know
Not as a
what?
personality-wise, but I just mean because of who they are.
I just had a good time with everybody, and
That's
everybody
wonderful.
was just great to me. And I think they were more infatuated by being around me than I was them, because they wanted to be about Hell's Angel. And
Right.
after the show, Liza would jump on my motorcycle and we'd leave, and
Oh,
leave the
are
show.
you
Yeah, oh
kidding?
yeah, many times.
When
Cher
I
would
get a
jump
lot
on my
more
bike.
money, I'm going to hire you to bodyguard me.
Cher would jump on my bike. It was back in the day, in the late 70s and 80s. The big hangout was Cafe Central, on right across the street from the Beacon Theater.
Right.
Everybody was
Would
there.
show up there.
Everybody, and Bruce Willis was the bartender, and I wound up being the bouncer there. So I was the bouncer, he was the bartender.
This is incredible.
Yeah, and everybody was there, from Cher to Dan Aykroyd and John Goodman and Treat Williams and John Hurt and everybody who was everybody was there. Danny Aiello, everybody was there. Everybody you could think of hung out at Cafe Central.
I mean, it's no wonder how your career has soared. I mean, just meeting with.
It was wild.
You talking about all these people. You never said anything about Vinny Vella being around.
Everybody. What's that?
You said about all these people being around. You never said nothing about Vinny Vella being around you.
Because you were never there. Were you there at Cafe Central?
Yeah.
When? When they closed. You were there.
You missed it.
Yeah, you're right. When they closed. About 2 weeks later, I got there.
2 weeks late.
And Vinny Vella was there.
And Vinny Vella. Oh my
Vinny
God,
Vella
you can't
was
forget
there.
Vinny Vella.
It's all right.
Come on, right?
It's all right.
You saw the guy in the back. He was
Sweeping the floor.
slipping on the floor over there. So.
You're right.
Wow.
No, he was. Everybody was there. Everybody was at Cafe Central.
Wow.
Back in the day, in the 80s. And of course, Studio 54 was a big place to go to, and the China Club, and
Of course.
a lot of times.
Studio 54, everybody got in trouble in there.
Everybody.
I got in trouble. I got arrested in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's another story.
And when did the transition happen for you as an actor to actually have lines? And what was your first project?
My first project was, like I said, a dead ringer, but I was just behind the scenes.
Right,
I was
exactly.
more of an extra than anything there. But
Featured extra.
what was
Your first
actually my
speaking role.
first speaking role was I think it had to be Oz.
Oh, it
I
did.
mean, it had to be Oz on my
Okay.
first show.
Well, that's. I mean,
Was
it's
it Oz that
huge.
put you on the map?
Which was, yeah, Oz really put me on the map. I mean, I did little shows after that. I had little walk-on scenes, but Oz put me on the map.
I see.
And the ironic thing was, I did 6 years in prison. Okay, I got 10 years. I did 6. When I got out of jail, I wound up getting a show on a prison show.
No.
So that's
This
Did you feel like?
typecasting.
Did you feel like you never
Wow.
left?
yes. In fact, the crazy thing about it,
He just stayed.
Since you brought that up, my first day on the set, I was sleeping in the cell
Oh no!
on a top bunk.
I could
And
just
I
imagine.
fell asleep.
Yeah.
And the next thing I hear, a guy wakes me up, and I look up, and oh man, I'm still in prison. And then he comes in, he goes, "Hey, you're up in 15 minutes." And I realized that. I looked out and saw the cast of Oz, and for the first.
Now those
my
bars
head
were
stood
made
up
out of
on my
wood,
my
right?
neck when I
Those
first
bars
saw
were
it.
made out of wood. Am I correct?
Yes.
Those bars
It
were made out of wood.
It was in a warehouse on 16th Street, 9th Avenue.
Okay.
Chelsea Market Building.
Oh, yes.
And we were up on the 6th floor.
That's right.
And they made everything.
So
It
they
looked
built
like
the
cells.
studio.
And you look behind it, there was all 2x4s holding up the cells and everything. It was pretty wild. So we had a good time. And I
We
always
did.
thank Tom Fontana for giving me a part in the greatest show on HBO.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, after the first season, I went to him. I said, "Well, thank you for having me on the show." And he goes, "Look," he goes, "next year I want to see how far I could push your character." My name was Chucky Pancamo.
So you were only supposed to be there for one
yeah.
season.
Well, no, I thought that, but he always said he had a different idea
He had an
for me.
idea for the
In
character.
fact, when I read for the part,
Yeah.
I beat out 40 guys. The guy's name was Sam Pancamo. When I got the part, they changed to Chucky
Chuck.
Pancamo.
Yeah.
Figure I wouldn't answer to Sam. I know. So, hey Sam, hey Chucky, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
So
It was seamless,
It,
yes.
it was great. And he said, I want to see how far I could push your character.
That's-
See where I could take you. I said, let me tell you something. I don't do rapes, and I don't get raped. If you can handle that, then I'm here for as long as you want. I wound up spending 5 years on the show.
5 years.
So you had five good years on that
5
show.
good years, and I
God.
lived in New Rochelle, and I was only 25 minutes
Right.
without traffic.
How did you come in with the bike?
I came with the bike, and I
Where'd
would
you
bring
park
it
it?
in the elevator, and I would bring it and park it right by
No.
my cell.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Don't
one of
even
the
do that.
cells. I would park it by the cell. Of course, when we weren't filming, it was there. but
Right.
I brought it through the elevator up on the set.
Wow.
So they say you gotta have them like that. But that's talking about a sandwich.
Oh, absolutely, of course.
And I always thank Tom Fontana till today for putting me on the greatest show on HBO.
That's really, really remarkable.
And I guess the second greatest was the one you were on with The Sopranos.
Hey, my boy.
there you go.
Because we blew you guys away, man. And
Hey,
if
well,
ever
you know,
came to Oz,
hey, we
we'd
both
spank you.
looked. we both lucked out. You got it from Oz. I got it from Casino.
Casino, yes.
You know? And when I went
Which,
to
of course,
Casino,
did a
was
great
only,
part. I mean,
was only supposed to be just a couple of days. And when they met me, they liked me, and they changed all the heads of the family, and made me Artie Piscano the underboss of Kansas City.
That's right.
So I wound up with 5 weeks,
Yes.
on a job in Vegas. And Joe Regano,
Yeah.
the guy with the raspy voice, unfortunately, he passed away.
Yes, I know that.
Just
Yes.
about 3-4 months ago.
Yeah.
And
Another good actor.
he was a very good friend of mine, good actor.
Another good actor. You guys did a great job, in fact, in Casino.
Oh, well, thank you
So-
so much. Thank you. Yeah. Well, everybody, with all the movies and everything that I've done, everybody just said, they all remember Casino.
Of course.
Not Sopranos or Analyze This and that. Always Casino. Yeah, you're the guy that screwed everybody up with the book.
Exactly, because you had a very crucial
You're the
part.
one who had all the books. You wrote everything
You
down.
had a very crucial part
But
of the
the
movie.
funny part of it is when, at the end, when they found the books, the FBI,
Yes.
Marty says, when they come over to you with the books, say something to them, like they're not your books. So when they said, bingo, we got them, and they come over and said, what's this, Mr. Piscano? I said, oh, those are not my books. Those are my mother's books.
My mother's books.
And then I dropped dead of a heart attack. But when I said that, the cameraman, the FBI guys, everybody was laughing. And they said, cut. Vinny, where you get these? I said, I'm sorry, you told me to say something. We got to do it over. But nobody laughed. Nobody laughed.
Yeah.
They didn't
I had a
expect
ball
that.
doing that. But Casino put me over the hump. And it still put me over the hump.
Yes.
But I'm just so happy for you also.
Thank you,
Because every
thank
time I turn around, you're always doing an appearance, or you're working, or you're doing a movie. And I'm always proud
try.
to say, that's my boy, Chuck. He calls me
you.
Baba.
And you also come up with really wonderful and unique ideas, which you came up with what would be the Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about that as far as that FX
Yeah,
show?
I guess. I mean, it's over already, but
Yeah. Well, it was just very interesting to me
Yes.
that you went in, gave them this idea about.
well, yeah, they got my book, my treatment, my idea, and all, and they says 2 weeks later, well, we don't, we passed. We don't want to do a motorcycle series, and I didn't think anything of it because that's Hollywood.
Of course, you never know what's going to stick.
And what happened was I went in a year later with different representation. They said, we're already working on a motorcycle series. We can't take the meeting. I said, well, hold it. I says, a year ago you said you didn't want to do one.
Right.
So then I started watching the show and saw so many similarities that was in my treatment of my book and everything. And like for 25 years, I was known as Charming Chuck in the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club.
What were you known as?
Charming Chuck.
Charming.
Charming
Chuck.
Chuck.
Turn the hearing aid up a little.
Now, were you Charming Senior?
Okay. So now they come from the town of Charming.
Yes.
One of the main guy's name is Chuck. Out of the thousands of Hells Angels that were, I was the only guy that coined the phrase "frontline 9." When 9 of us went and went somewhere and confronted
Right.
some people we didn't like.
Right.
So they were first 9. In my book, it shows I body grinded a tattoo off somebody. In a show, they used a torch. I mean, it was so
Too
many
much of a
similarities. So
coincidence,
I got a little pissed off, and I decided to sue them. So for 2 years, I was suing them.
In
and,
that process.
And I lost a thing called summary judgment, when a judge could go, well, he could send it to a trial or dismiss it. And he
Right.
chose to. I walked in with my lawyer, and they walked in with 5 lawyers from 5 different law firms. So it was a little hard to, beat them. And he says,
course.
well, I don't think it was, they stole Mr. Zito's idea. I think it was self-created, dismissed. So then I said, okay, I'm going to appeal it now, and which I appealed it.
Good for you.
And which it goes up to San Francisco in front of 3 appellate judges. And but what happened was they got a hold of my lawyer and said, look, we'll pay your lawyer and give you part on the show. And I says, well, my lawyer says, look, we don't go to court for another 2 years. We could lose and everything else. And he was on contingency, so he never got paid. And so they decided to pay him, and
And now you're on the show.
And what happened was Kurt Sutter, who was the writer and creator of the show,
yes.
He wanted to have a meeting with me, and which we did. And then I met him, and he said some derogatory things about me when my complaint came out. And I was just going to, my first reaction was to, of course.
Did you?
Your gut instinct.
No, I didn't. And actually, what happened was he was friends with Charlie Sheen, and he gave Charlie Sheen a Sons of Anarchy jacket. Charlie gave it to me. I wore it to the meeting, which opened up some eyes.
Okay.
So.
Well, you know, I'm getting a signal right now that we only have
the time went by
like,
really quickly.
Yeah, I know.
1 minute.
See, when you're having fun, time goes by fast.
Time
Well,
goes
and
by.
when you have such a star, I mean,
know.
what
Well,
an honor
there
we
you
had
go.
to have Chuck
Well,
Zito on
you know,
here.
maybe somewhere along the line in the near future, maybe we'll be lucky enough to get Chuck to come back again sometime.
Absolutely.
I might come back again,
You might come
He
back
might.
just to come look at Mariana. Not you.
Oh,
That's why I'm right in the middle. I'm the buffer.
okay, you got it.
I stay right in.
Anyway, I just want to
Thank you so much to
my
have me on
audience.
thank
the
you
Vinny
so
Bella
much,
Show.
Chuck, I love you, man. The best.
Love you too, man.
And,
Thank you so much meeting you.
Thank you
Great.
so
was
much,
lovely meeting
and
you
my
too.
audience for coming down.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
thank you. All
Have a
right,
good night.
Look at your audience. Look
all
at that.
right. Did the music come on yet?
It did.
There it is.
Cool. That was good.
Elizabeth Street, Little Italy. Hangs with his pals, yeah, that's where he'll be. It's Vinny, a friend of mine. Stand-up guy from the Lower East Side. Take it from me, he's one of a kind. It's Vinny Velatine.